Hey everyone, the name is Erik Thor and in today's video we're talking about why INFJs and INFPs seem so similar. And in this video I'm going to show you that introverted feeling, the dominant function of the INFP personality type, is very similar to introverted intuition, the dominant function of the INFJ personality type. Contrary to popular belief, the INFPs and INFJs share probably the most commonalities of any personality. INFPs and INFJs think very similarly and use very similar functions when they process information. And because of this, many INFPs feel or wonder that maybe they are, perhaps, INFJs. When you talk about and research introverted intuition as an INFP, you're probably going to notice that actually, I kind of relate to this. I kind of think this way. I kind of use a similar process. I tend to experience similar things. And so, in this video, let's find out why that is, and let's settle the question of whether you are an INFP or an INFJ, or perhaps a little bit of both. Introverted intuition and introverted feeling are very similar processes. Introverted intuition has to do with theoretical conceptual intelligence. It is the cognitive function we use to reason about and formulate theories and concepts to help us navigate and explain different things that are happening in the world. Introverted feeling is interpersonal intelligence. It is what we use to formulate the sense of self and to generate the self-awareness and to become more understanding of our own thoughts and feelings, to conceptualize feelings and to put words on what it is that we experience and why we feel a certain way and what we want. Now, these two processes, because they are introverted, both share a similar top-down approach of thinking, which means that often its starting point is in things that you are experiencing and thinking about. And so a lot of the time, these two processes focus on the inner world. And when we spend time by ourselves, in meditation, in contemplation, we tend to be the most likely to experience and engage in these kinds of processes. These kind of processes are also kind of slow-paced, meaning they take more time and conscious effort, and often a result can be slightly delayed. But these two processes are not just similar because both of them are introverted. They're also similar because intuition and feeling are similar kinds of processes. In the brain, most likely, intuition and feeling share a certain degree of overlap, meaning that both of them rely on a similar set of processes related with what early Taoists would call yin energy or soft energy. It's a more nuanced, abstract way of thinking about the world, processing information and reflecting on different experiences. It requires less hard evidence, observation, and logical reasoning, and requires more a form of feeling or intuiting or instinctive response to a certain situation. You could say that intuition is the feeling of information gathering. It is a way of feeling out information, and it's thinking about how you feel about what you experience and what you see and what you observe. You could also argue that feeling is a form of intuiting about decision-making. It is a discerning process that is intuitive in its nature, in the sense that it tries to, rather than search for an exact answer or an exact definition or exact evidence, it tries to form a general feeling about what something is, or it tries to have a general idea or intuition about something that doesn't necessarily have to be proven. You could argue that intuition and feeling are similar because neither need proof. The difference between these two processes reside in the fact that the INFP personality type tends to be much more connected to their own body and to their own inner sensory experience. Often what we see is sensory experience is the starting point of the INFP. The INFP has developed a set of, or a sense of who they are, or what their duties are, what their responsibilities are, what their past is, what they've experienced, and how that has shaped them as a person. The INFJ's starting point is different. The INFJ's starting point is actually in the feeling factor. The INFJ tends to start with or notice a symbol or some kind of figure or some kind of image. And because of that image, the INFJ tends to end up spending a lot of time in reflection and contemplation. What does this symbol mean? How do I explain it? And how do I use it? And for what purpose or intent does it exist? The INFP starts in the sensory factor and then moves to the intuitive factor. And the result of this alchemical process is introverted feeling. The INFP will start with, firstly, noting what it is that they are experiencing in their bodies: stress, anxiety, shame, or different forms of pain, or different forms of discomfort, or perhaps positive emotions and experiences. The INFP will then reflect on why they feel that way. Why are they having this experience? Why are they responding this way to being in this situation or engaging in this activity? Why do I feel so bad when I do the dishes or when I go to work or when I'm talking with this person? The INFJ spends a lot more time in this symbolical conceptual space. And so INFJ spend a lot more time reflecting on different abstract symbols and imageries. INFJ spend a lot of time wondering about why they're here, what it means, they spend time reflecting on their dreams, they spend time looking at art, they spend time looking at different things, and then asking themselves, what are rules, what are the principles that make out and explain what this symbol means, and how can I translate this, how can I understand this? And so what you see in intuition is a desire to translate experiences. INFPs are certainly interested in translating different experiences, but they're interested in translating direct experiences that they feel and experience in their body. INFPs are, in that way, more grounded, more rooted, in the sense that INFPs tend to be more connected to nature, to experience, to the situation, and their intuitions, their gut feelings, their experiences that they have about a situation often are triggered by the sensory and by their past experiences to something. A lot of the time when we look at and understand emotions, emotions are the result of how we have trained ourselves to feel about different experiences. You could imagine that throughout your life, throughout your childhood, throughout your upbringing, you have accumulated a certain set of experiences about different forms of food that you like and dislike, about different kinds of people that you like and dislike, about what kind of hobbies you enjoy and don't enjoy. And so the INFP is full of these kinds of ideas and experiences. The INFP has, over time, like any person, accumulate a lot of these experiences. But the INFP is, in that sense, more concerned with these experiences and understanding them. The INFP is constantly trying to navigate what it is that I feel like doing, what it is that I don't like doing, what it is that I experience, what it is that I don't want to experience, and what kind of a person that I am, and what those experiences say about me, and how these experiences have shaped me as a person. That's also why I tend to say introverted feeling is intrapersonal intelligence, while introverted intuition is theoretical conceptual intelligence. Often in the INFJ, I see a high grasp of abilities to explain theories and come up with intricate, complex ideas or systems for how things work. And the INFJ's ability to put things in systems, in boxes, in categories, and the ability to use these categories and these systems and these rules and principles to understand the situation is certainly extraordinary. But similarly, the INFP has, because of their time spent understanding themselves, typically a very strong intuitive grasp of their future and their vision and what it is that they are headed towards. INFPs spend a long time thinking about their future. Where am I going with my life? Where am I headed? Where do I want to go? And because the INFP tends to have a high level of self-awareness, INFPs tend to find it more easy to make these kinds of decisions. INFJs tend to be a little bit more numb to what it is that they want. Where am I headed? Where do I want to go? Why do I want to go there? Often INFJs don't spend a lot of time thinking about these matters. What drives the INFJ is a pure fascination with understanding, with gaining understanding and awareness of something. And sometimes INFJs need help to understand and really embody these kinds of experiences. Certainly, though, there are INFPs that have very strong introvert intuition as well. And certainly there are INFJs that are very connected to their own interpersonal experience. These things can happen especially when you spend a lot of time around INFPs or INFJs and when you've learned a lot about them. And certainly through reading, through different experiences, through different activities, you can develop both forms of intelligence if you want to. And so I wouldn't stress so much about whether you're an INFP or an INFJ. If you do really find yourself feeling like you're both of them, let yourself be both of them. Let yourself embody both archetypes and see how and when you tend to embody each archetype. Perhaps you'll notice that there are certain situations when you are more like an INFJ and certain situations where you're more like an INFP. Perhaps also reflect on how it is you feel like when you are more like an INFJ and what you feel like when you are more like an INFP. Do you notice that your energy, your anxiety level, your stress changes when you are in one of these two archetypes? That might give you a clue. Most importantly is we need to strive towards intellectual and cognitive roundedness, which means cognitive symmetry. We need to learn how to let different cognitive processes talk to one another, and we need to learn to understand each cognitive process better. Because by understanding your cognition better and learning to talk to different cognitive functions, you're going to grow as a person, you're going to become more conscious, and you're going to increase your self-awareness too. Best of luck, and see you all in the next video.